This is Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano, and you are listening to Shootin' Poop.
The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
Hey everyone, it's DDJ and The Premiere, Joey K here. The Forbidden Door has been closed, but we have a problem. Somebody must have forgotten to check to see if everybody had crossed through, because our resident Giovanni Tuhati, he got they locked him in, and we're waiting for them to let him out. So Giovanni won't be joining us. So I hope your phone's charged. I hope you got something to entertain yourself, because it's going to be a long time before I think that Forbidden Door opens again. Maybe at Wrestle Kingdom or something.
We'll see.
We'll see. So, all right, we're gonna do our best here to make it a two-man band show today and stuff. So, a few things to talk about. It's gonna be pretty interesting. So, what do you say, Joe? You ready to go?
Let's rock and fucking roll.
Rock on. All right, let's do this. This is episode 42 of Shooting Shit, and we're gonna few things to talk about today. What do you say, Joe? Let's get right into it. The Forbidden Door has coming on. What do you think of the show?
Overall, it was probably my top AEW pay-per-view I've seen so far. Which, you know, hey, look, did it have a couple missteps? Of course. I think any show is going to. No show is going to be perfect top to bottom.
Agreed.
But overall, I think they accomplished what they wanted to do. The crowd was pretty damn hot the whole night for it. So I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, you being there with Jovan. I got out before they locked the Forbidden Door, so unfortunately said he couldn't make it. That's why he's not with us this week. Yeah, from the moment that the doors opened and the pre-show kicked off with I believe it was Goto and Yoshihashi against with QT Marshall and Aaron Solo. I mean, to the end of the night, that crowd was popping the whole night, and it was just a surreal environment to be a part of. And we're going to talk about some of the bigger crowd pops that were throughout the night and stuff. So, but I'm just going to come right out and say this, and I think this is going to lead to an interesting debate on here. Like I said, we always talk about, if you could only hear what we talk about on before we start recording. I got shit on last week by Joey K and Giovanni Tuhati for when I made the statement that Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay was going to shock a lot of people on how good it was going to be. And you go online, you read Twitter from fans that were there, wrestlers, backstage people, dirt sheet riders, whatever, and a lot of people pegged that as their match of the night. Now, I think I am owed an apology. I know I'm not going to get it, so I'm not going to sit there and beg and plead, because I'm not going to be pleading with Joey K is like trying to tell my wife that I was right. We know it ain't going to happen.
You can ask any of my ex-wives. There's no apology coming.
But I thought that match was amazing. But you know what, though? Joey K and I, we're two different people. We have our things that we like and we don't like. We don't like all the same things. We don't dislike all the same things. But you know what? We're two, I guess you could call us mature enough men to accept each other's differences. What were some of the things that you liked about the show?
Now, hold on. Before we go any further, Last week, you said that was your match that was going to, quote, steal the show. And I shit on it. That was the wording. Not it was going to be great or amazing. It was going to steal the show. And no, it did not steal the show. The reason it didn't steal the show was there was a couple other matches that stole the whole fucking show. And we'll touch on that. But first, DDJ, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that you have absolute shit picks for matches that will steal the show. That's what I'm sorry for, sir. In all seriousness, here we go. In all seriousness, it was a good match. It actually really was a good match. But I also say, like, how many matches in the past 2 years has Ospreay had that weren't a good match? So there's a lot.
It's very rare Ospreay doesn't has a bad match if he does.
Correct. And my other take on this, and I said this before the show, was if a lot of fans only know Orange Cassidy from his AEW time. And I think that's a big problem with a lot of. I shouldn't say problem because I don't want to sound like I'm gatekeeping because that's wrong too. And I know we're not like that, but go back and watch some other matches. Orange Cassidy has a very specific gimmick. Nobody else does that gimmick like he does. Mm-hmm. But the reason that gimmick works so well is because he really does know how to wrestle. He knows the psychology. He can move. He has a move set that's not just, the real laid back, the kicks of doom and, all the shit that he does that's gimmick wise. So the match is actually a lot of what I expected. It was good. It was good. And I'm going to say that. But it just didn't steal the show for me. And I knew it wasn't going to steal the show for me, not with seeing what else was on there. I'm going to tell you right now, probably the match that stole the show for me, the tag team title match, winner take all. Okay. That match was great. I love the storytelling. It was just, my brother and I were having a conversation during the match, and it was a lot of, man, okay, Roppongi Vice is in here. Yeah, but Roppongi Vice is in there for two reasons. Number one, you're getting a little bit of a New Japan revival in that. Number two, Rocky's been doing a lot of work with AEW lately. Yep. And of course, Trent is in AEW. So,
and Rocky, shout out to Rocky for kind of being one of the main cogs in the show being put together because of his ties to both AEW and New Japan.
Right. And they were placed in that match, in my opinion, because you have FTR, who is all AEW. You have a New Japan team that is representing United Empire, and then you have a hybrid, basically AEW and New Japan team in Roppongi Vice and representing Chaos. So to me, like I loved it. I love the storytelling. I love the shoulder injury. What a throwback to some classic tag team matches. Your partner's hurt, you got to go it alone. The partner makes the hot comeback instead of getting a hot tag, you get a hot comeback into the match. He's all taped up, he's fighting with one arm. You have that. Was the right decision made? 100%. Because I think FTR, I said this last week, FTR is having the year of years. They're on my list as top performer of the year. I'm not even saying tag team. I'm just saying performer in general.
Yeah, I know you've been highly complimentary, especially of Dax Harwood 100%. The last couple shows, and rightfully so.
100%. And they played that match really well. It gives FTR a reason to go to Japan now, which is going to be awesome. And I can't wait for that. So we're going to get FTR United Empire again for the tag team titles, I'm sure, in Japan, which is really cool. And I know FTR has been wanting to do that. That was one of my steal the night, type of matches. Can I ask
you something about that? Because I will say this. I if you're asking me for my match of the night, like I said, as much as I was into Orange Cassidy and Will Ospreay, If I had to pick a match of the night, honestly, I would probably go with that 3-way tag as well, too.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you that towards the end of that match with the spot with the referee botch, when it looked like he actually counted 3.5, where like even I think after the match, Rocky and Trent were kind of talking to the ref, like, 1, 2, 3. And I know there was a lot of people like sitting in my area that were kind of the same thing. I mean, do you think that what do you say? Do you know the spot I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. First that was Remsburg, right? That was Bryce Remsburg.
No, that was Turner.
It was Turner. Okay. So
And I've been watching on TV. You're probably more likely you saw maybe what happened versus from where I was sitting. That didn't I just heard, but I couldn't quite see from where I was sitting there. But I kind of want to get your take on what you think happened with that.
So we were watching it live. I haven't watched it back a second time.
I haven't either. I need to.
And yeah, so do I, because there's a couple things. That was one of the spots that I wanted to rewatch.
Mhm.
In first watching it, of course, we're having conversation in the house too as we're watching it. So at first, I thought Turner, when he dropped down and hit the mat, it sounded like he hit one. Then he went for the 1, the 2, and then, got
Right.
the 2.5 count out of it. That was my first impression. Now I'm going to have to go back and watch it again to see if he really did count that 3, because they haven't made mention of it. I mean, as far as I know, nothing was mentioned on Dynamite about it.
No, nothing was, but I know after the match, and I don't know if this was on camera or not, because again, I was watching live. I could see Rocky and Trent talking with the ref after the match that, like they're saying, hey, you counted 3, 3.
Yeah.
And stuff. And
Yeah,
there were
and
people that I sat with that said technically Rocky and Trent should have all the gold right now.
Which, and we've seen those kind of screw ups before where, refs have counted to 3, or somebody didn't get the pinfall breakup in time, or somebody forgot to kick out in that spot and they've done funky things after. Now, so the one thing I did notice though, after that, of course, the crowd's chanting "you fucked up" and things like that. But the thing I noticed though was Turner didn't have that look like I fucked up. Like he looked pretty confident the rest of the match. Like, no, I counted 2.5. Like in his mind, he was set with it. So that's why I was going to watch it back again to see if that was on the drop down when he went into the pinfall and hit to make it sound like a count of 1 or not. But I mean, but that's not on any of the performers. That's on Turner if he did screw it up. And they can spin it storyline wise too.
One other thing I want to ask about, did the commentary make any mention of it? Off the top of your head.
I don't recall specifically. They kind of did a little bit of cover on it as far as I remember. I might be a little unclear. I'm gonna rewatch it again. But I think they made a little like commentary cover up where it was a little like do we just well, I guess it was a 2 count type, a little off, but they were pretty much back in it pretty quick after that. So yeah, the commentary was a little off, but I just remember seeing Turner and he was like, he wasn't shaken after that, like thinking like, oh man, I really fucked up here. Sometimes we do see that when a ref makes a mistake like that, but I didn't notice that the rest of the match out of him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what were some of the other matches that you were pretty into?
Man, the Mid-Atlantic Championship match, that was a pretty good match.
Yes, it was.
A lot better than I anticipated. It wasn't super high on my list looking at the card overall, to be honest with you. And of course, Ishii being out of the match, kind of like and putting in Clark Connors, that was a little bit of a I hate to say letdown, although he did what he was supposed to do. He came in, but goddamn, Miro, like the guy comes in, he's put in as a replacement. Everybody know Ishii's hurt. Fucking sell for the kid at least. Jesus Christ. Like, I get it. I get Miro's character, but I mean, sell something for him. Like every time that Connors had any kind of offense against Miro. Like he just no sold him the whole fucking match until literally the final 6. That was probably the only thing that like was a glaring thing to me in that match. Other than that, it was a solid match. Pac winning, awesome. I was all for that. I know on my picks, I picked Malachi. I think I took Malachi Black in that one.
I think Giovanni and I took Miro.
You both took Miro on that. So we were both off on that. Overall, I think I only had two matches that I picked that were incorrect the whole damn night. Which is good and bad. Like a little bit of like, you're around wrestling and you're a fan long enough, you understand, like you kind of see where things are going. But that match stood out. That was a good match. Again, the Ospreay OC match was a good match. I mean, I didn't have any issues with it. I liked it. It wasn't my show stealer of the night, but it was a good match. I said this too. The Jericho match. Okay. They opened the show, right? That was the opener.
Yes, that was the opener of the official show.
So yeah, main card opener. Again, and I said this last week, the only downside of that is announcing that the winner gets the man advantage in Blood and Guts gives you the winner already. The heel team's gonna win.
Right.
So already knowing that, but the actual match played out really well. Getting Eddie versus Suzuki was what I was hoping for. That was great.
Got that.
Oh man, the crowd was so hot for that too. I loved it. Who else hit? I'm trying to think here in my head. Go back a little bit.
Well, while you're thinking about it, one thing I want to talk about, something I really liked. I really liked how well the Bucks and El Phantasmo worked together. I really was a fan of how they worked together. And then the way that match started with the green going black and then, Sting appearing in the rafters. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, there's no way he's doing a Shawn Michaels entrance here. No way.
Yeah.
A couple other people that were sitting in front of me were saying the same thing and stuff. And then when the lights went out and when they went again over the stage and he did that dive, I thought that was a really fun way to start that match.
Well, so at home, there was a camera shot that went up to the upper balcony. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it was like a quick camera shot. Like, are they and that's the same thing we thought at home. Like, are they really going to drop him in the fucking ring? They literally just had the Owen Hart tournament, last month. And they're going to drop Sting in from the fucking rafters. Like, well, that's not a good look at all. Like, maybe we shouldn't do that. But that's what they teased. And at home on camera, that's what they showed. They showed this shot up into the upper balcony, like the spot where Darby and Sting were when the night Punk came back. When he was talking to, or like how they were up in like a roped off section at the very top,
right? Like a suite or something.
Yeah, like that type of thing. So I was like, man, are they going to do something? But look. The match overall was good. I've already bitched about Miro no selling. Goddamn. I don't want to see Sting wrestle anymore. I really don't. I was a Sting fan when I was a kid. I loved him through the 90s in the Monday Night Wars. But, like, come on. Oh, look, he jumps on the Bucks and LP. And like, they like, stop it. And then in the match, like there's so many spots that he doesn't sell. Like, oh, and Shivani, it's Sting. I'm so over it. I really am. It's just enough already. Enough. Drives me fucking bananas. But the match itself overall, dude, the Bucks and Phantasmo worked. You said it. That was the highlight of that match to me. Like, it was, I said this to my brother. I was like, it was a throwback to the Bucks in Japan.
Yep.
Like from the gear, first of all, from the gear. Okay. They came out in the Bullet Club Young Bucks gear, which was really cool. I like that. I was like, all right, dig that touch. And just their teamwork, that real, I don't want to say goofy, but that kind of heel work that they did in Japan that got them to the point they are now. That was a good throwback. I love that. That was a solid match too. I'm going to tell you, the only dud of the night for me was the Thunder Rosa Tony Storm match.
Okay.
Which I said that before. I just don't think this women's roster is meshing well together in anything. You have Thunder Rosa is great, and we've seen Tony Storm do some really, really great things. I just don't think she's done anything great in AEW. I'm not, and I don't know if that's just the styles or what it is, but it's just off. And that match to me was kind of just off. And also, how did it look in the arena in that botch spot that happened?
Refresh my memory on the spot again. I kind of know, but just remember.
Wasn't it Tony Storm got dropped on her head by Thunder Rosa?
Something like that. I know a lot of people.
I can't remember the sequence to it, but like, because I actually ran to grab a drink and I came back out to the and I was like, "What?" They're like, "Dude, Tony Storm just ate a hard one." I was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
And I mean, in the arena, I could hear it on the TV too. And I was like, "Man," I was like, "That's just another thing. This women's roster is just not meshing well together." And the styles just aren't working.
It's really their women's roster. It's really imbalanced. I mean, it's you've got your few here. Here, and then everybody else is down here. You don't have that healthy. And I think that's one of the things that sets, like, I think you and I have both gone on record to say that Impact has by far and away the best women's division in wrestling.
Agreed.
Because it's very well rounded out. And speaking of Impact, I want to take a quick minute to just give a shout out to Giselle Shaw, who just recently came out as transgender, and I think that's just, especially with Pride Month just about getting ready to wrap up as we're recording this and stuff.
Yeah,
and I just thought that I never would have thought that, but I mean, I know there's some people out there, and of course you're gonna have your idiot people out there that are gonna say, "Oh, she's a man," we're gonna get the whole Nyla Rose thing all over again. You know what? If you're gonna have that kind of attitude, you know what? Just get the fuck out, because there's no place for that and stuff. But I just want to give a quick shout out to Giselle Shaw for coming out as transgender. I think it was a great step. And then 100%. Impact Wrestling, shout out to them for posting that response or coming out with that release. Basically saying that they stand with her. So class out there.
Yeah, I dig that. I love companies get behind that and do that. Look, that's my biggest gripe on WWE. Support your fucking performers.
Yep.
And WWE doesn't do that unless it fits their specific narrative. But kudos to Impact for doing that. I know AEW does that too.
Yep.
AEW has aired a lot of
the videos
for Pride Month, things like that. They support their performers. So in turn, I'm all for that. So right. I think more companies should take those steps and do that as well too. So yeah, good on Impact for that. I like that too.
Yeah. So one of the things I also kind of want to talk about, what I liked was with the Zack Sabre Jr. match. I think everybody pretty much knew who it was going to be, but I don't think I've ever been in any arena where I literally felt like the roof was going to blow off the arena when his music started playing and he came out. Literally, it was shit. They always talk about, the rafters are shaking and everything. The roof's about to blow off the arena. It literally felt like that. And I know if they go back and unlock the Forbidden Door to let Giovanni out when he comes back, hopefully he'll be back in time for next week's show and he can give his take on there. But man alive, that pop he got was just Unfucking real.
Yeah, we were sitting here and we said the same thing, like, holy shit, because that came through. And I was like, good for him.
Yep.
Good for him, because that's a lot of people who supported him in WWE. As soon as he would get a little bit of a push, when we had the Cesaro section, which was really a fucking grassroots effort,
Yep.
To push somebody that people really enjoy watching. The only downside, that fucking theme music. Like, what the
You
fuck?
didn't like it?
No, I don't like it.
I thought it was a bit of a banger.
Like, good God almighty. Really? A fucking 1812 Overture remix? That's almost as bad as Bryan Danielson's music. And that's saying something, because I don't need that fucking
But
remix
isn't that,
either.
didn't he use that in Ring of Honor with Chris Hero as the Kings of Wrestling?
Yeah, he did. But, like, why do we have to remix so much shit?
I think it's more or less just an homage to these guys. Kind of like,
yeah, I get that. I'll give you that. But, like, you're debuting part of the Blackpool Combat Club, which is, for all, just to say it, I mean, that's a shooter's gallery right there.
yep.
Give the man some fucking hard ass music here. Give him something that's real. I mean, because you got Moxley coming out, it's a fucking wild thing. All right. Even Wheeler's music's fucking better than that. Like, come on. Like, give him give him something. That was the only, like, okay, I get the callback here, but Jesus Christ.
If we're still doing this show 30 years from now, why do I have this picture in my mind that you're going to be sitting in some rocking chair with your walking stick and you're going to stick it out? It's like, hey, you kids, get off my lawn.
Oh, I'm going to, especially if those little assholes have shitty entrance music. I'm going to be real pissed off about it. The match, though, so the match was great. I love the coming in hot, the running European uppercut, the neutralizer.
Dude, when he hit that at the beginning, I'm like, there's no way.
Oh, we said that too. Like,
there's no way it's going to be over that quickly. And I'm thinking, when he's going 1, 2, and I'm thinking, no fucking way. And he's going down, like, they're really gonna do it. And then he kicked out at like 2 9/10. I'm thinking, oh man.
And good on Sabre for really selling the fuck out of that pinfall too. Yeah. I mean, dude, that was 2.999 fucking type of kick out. And I was like, good. And I was like, this is gonna be. That's when I said, I was like, this is gonna be a great match. Because Zack Sabre Jr. is going to do what Zack Sabre Jr. does. I mean, again, another guy that I have a lot of hard time finding him having really bad matches.
Oh my God. You and me both.
I mean, and the guy, so one thing, I spent years training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and things like that. When he gets that heel hook in, that is the most, so for people who don't know, in a real fight scenario, like an actual fight, that is a very, very, very damaging submission hold. Heel hooks are very dangerous. There's only even in competitions, there's certain belt levels that you don't allow that type of finish, that type of submission, because it can end very fast and it can destroy your knee. Zack Sabre Jr. does it so well and makes it look so good in the ring, but not in a way to injure his opponent. Because to be truthful with you, he could have tore to Claudio's knee out in an instant. But he makes it look so good and very realistic. Yep. Props to him on that. That was one thing I noticed in the match, just because it's something like I've witnessed before, I've done before. They had a great match. I loved it. Claudio getting the win. I think we talked about this last week. Like, I can see it. There was a reason for Sabre to get that win too, to set up the Danielson match, which we still want to see.
And I still think we are going to see it.
I think we will too. Unfortunately, it's going to be somewhere down the line, but great match. I thought that was a solid match, but that pop, man, he came out and you could see it on his face. You could see it on his face in that entrance, like finally.
Yep.
I was good about that. And last thing I'll touch on the co-main events, I'll say. The IWGP title match was a solid match. Was it
Absolutely.
great? Was it great? No, but it was a really good match. I'll say it was a really, really good match, especially hearing that Adam Cole may have a concussion from that match now.
Yep. And I think that's what played in, because there was a little bit of because being there live, when he went down, and then I think White rolled Okada. I think White hit the Blade Runner on Okada and rolled him out of the ring, and then went to pin Cole.
Yeah.
And it kind of looked like, I think Cole tried to kick out, or I don't know if he was or not, and I'd be interested to see what happened. It just seemed like that kind of like literally when that happened, and White got. I mean, I was happy White retained, but I mean, it's just the way that it happened. It just seemed like
very
it was very deflating, because it just seemed like the air went out of the arena at that spot, because I think nobody was expecting it to end the way it did, because it didn't seem like that's what was supposed to happen.
I don't feel that was how the finish was supposed to go.
I'm in agree. I agree. I don't think that's how it was supposed to finish either.
It didn't look like that, which we even looked at each other and just said, I think Cole's hurt. Like,
my buddy Patrick, who was with me, Jovan and I as well. And I mean, there were other people like sitting around, like we were all just like what the hell happened?
That was the downside of that match. Took it from a great match to a good match was the finish. And look, hey, everybody says, oh, it's not real, this and that. Guys get hurt, guys get hurt in matches. And we'll touch on a match where a guy got hurt just on Wednesday night soon enough. But, it took the air out of the sails for that match to have a finish like that. Because the crowd, after the 3 count, we sat there and like the crowd just sounded dead. Was it dead for that finish too?
It was, because I think I think that wasn't supposed to happen. And I think majority of the audience felt that as well too. And I think like I said, you could just feel the excitement, or just you could feel something just like
was off.
Like what was off with that, and it's just the crowd picked up on that as well too. And I think that's why he did. I don't know how it came across on TV after the match was over with, but in the arena there was just something, just like you just feel like you could feel something. It was
probably, from TV perspective, I'll say it was probably the most dead finish that came through TV of the whole night.
I would probably say live as well too, because it seemed like in terms of that pop you always get when the match is over, it's it just felt like that was the flattest, and I'm including the matches on the pre-show as well too.
Yeah, I agree, because I watched most of the pre-show. Thanks, Bleacher Report, for letting me at least see 2/3 of it.
Good old Bleacher Report,
motherfuckers! I swear, every time I bitched about it last week before the show, and what fucking happened? I log in early. Oh, you require an update. It's not letting me get on. Then I finally get on. Okay, great. So once I got that all sorted, because I saw the finish of the first match. I didn't see most of the first match, the factory tag team match, but I saw the finish.
Yeah, it was factory versus Yoshihashi and Goto.
Goto, yeah. So I saw the finish of that, and even that finish was like a huge pop, and the arena wasn't even packed yet. So so I say the 4-way, and honestly, look, I'll finish with this: the Tanahashi Moxley match. Again, a decent match. It wasn't my particular cup of tea. It wasn't for me. It wasn't like my highlight of the night, but a solid match overall. Moxley winning. Yeah, I see that. I think that's what I took.
What was the I think I know what it was, but again, because you watched this on TV, what did they go off the air with? Was it with Kingston and yelling at like Cesar, like everybody because of the whole thing with Claudio.
Yeah,
Which I love, by the way. I'm going to talk about just how good Eddie Kingston is, and this is
we'll talk about that more when we get to talk about Dynamite, the post Forbidden Door Dynamite. But so on TV we saw the whole melee, everybody coming down, and we ended with kind of everybody in the ring, but Kingston not getting in the ring, pointing at Claudio, yelling back and forth, and all that shit. But then it faded out where it was just like, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Right.
And to me, that actually took more away from the match. I get they were building for Dynamite, but
I don't know if you saw like what they, because afterwards, like Mox cut a promo, and I think Claudio talked for a little bit and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they had the one thing that I really wish this should have been how the show ended, is they had Mox and Tanahashi basically bow in the middle of the ring, and then they kind of got down on, right. I don't know, the all fours. Basically what they do, I believe, in Japan is a form of respect.
Right.
Like that's how the show ended for us at the arena, which was really awesome, and the crowd ate that up.
Which is where I was going. I was going to go with that because they cut the feed off before we got to see any of that. I saw that shit on Twitter, after the fact. But you're going to make me sit here for 5 fucking hours of a show, including the buy-in, the whole pre-show, 5 hours, and give me that part. Give me Moxley cutting a promo. Give me the go home from Moxley, the show of respect to Tanahashi. That would have just like made the match and the card itself just a little bit over the top. That would have solidified it for me. I don't want to go on Twitter to see what happened from fan filming or whatever, or AEW releases the footage after the fact.
Right.
I don't. I just paid $50 fucking to sit here for 5 hours. Give me the last 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Right. I have an issue with that, but that's an AEW production issue. There's nothing against the match or any of the performers. But dude, let me have that at home. Right. If I gotta pay $50 fucking for it, give me the whole thing.
So one pop before, because I think they pretty much one pop that we did not talk about, who was almost as loud as Claudio's, was actually at the end of the Will Ospreay OC match, and that's when Shibata came out. My fucking God, that pop, and I can almost guarantee. Obviously, this show was for the hardcore fan that watches, AEW and New Japan. So, but man, though, I mean, just that pop for Shibata was just unreal.
Bigger than that, how about the pop for Max Caster in his entrance, dropping that you're busy washing Shibata's balls, to the dojo. Yep. Fucking classic line. Love that. But the Shibata pop was great. I love how I actually love the interaction with him and OC at the end where he puts the sunglasses on.
Yep.
And Shibata basically fucking no-sells it. He's not here for comedy. He's not here for anything funny. And OC puts the sunglasses on. His expression never changed.
Yep.
Like he was just stone cold killer. And I loved it. It was perfect.
You know what else was really cool about that match too? And I think it came across on TV was the promo that Juice Robinson cut.
Yes.
Dude, that was actually almost right above where I was sitting, where they had them out. And then like earlier in the night when Hobbs and Starks cut a promo on Swerve and Keith Lee as well. It was almost right above where we were sitting. And I cannot wait to see Ospreay versus Juice.
That's going to be good. Did you see that they aired it during the pre-show? Did they air it in Arena then where Juice was backstage with Jay White?
No, I did not see that. I don't think they showed that to
Okay. So in the buy-in, they did a small cut when they were just talking in between matches. They were talking about matches on the main card, and they cut to backstage with Juice and Jay White. And of course, Juice still has the US title with him, right?
Right. Yeah.
And oh man, he is just so, I can't say this enough, so fucking good in that heel spot for Bullet Club right now.
Yep.
I mean, just fantastic. I can't wait to see where they're gonna go with him and Ospreay as far as the physical title goes.
Yep. All right. So before we get to Dynamite, let's kind of sandwich it in with a little, because there's a couple things of note with WWE or other things going on. And the big thing with we're gonna talk about the WWE news, and that broke earlier today. Again, we're recording on Thursday, June 30th. Logan Paul is officially signed with WWE. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you have a lot of bad press over the past couple weeks. You got to do something major. That's about where I stand on it, because I think, look, I think we all unanimously praised his work at WrestleMania.
Absolutely, rightfully so.
And he had a great showing at WrestleMania, no doubt about it. Is he going to fit in with the WWE is the bigger question at this point, because that was a one-off. That's your WrestleMania celebrity match, that they always try to build in somewhere. How's it going to play out? I don't know. Will it draw the fans that they think it's going to draw? I don't think so. Because
I don't think anything's going to draw the fans that they think anymore with WWE.
Your WWE audience is an older crowd.
Yeah.
And that older audience doesn't give two flying fucks about Logan Paul, the Paul brothers in general, or any of that kind of celebrity bullshit. So I don't think it's going to do what they really want it to do. Look, I'll eat my words in 6 months if he turns out to be something great and really moving the needle, a phrase that's been thrown out in the past year. But I don't see it. I don't personally. I don't have too much interest in it. I was like, oh wow, look, that's a nice little news bite. That'll get some positive news out there to try to take something off the mainstream news of Vince McMahon lately. But I think that's really the major statement that was made was, hey, look what we're doing over here, guys. Don't worry about the giant sex scandal and payoffs and people like that. Let's focus on the ring and who we're bringing here.
Right.
That's really all it screamed at me.
Right. And then also, too, it looks like we don't know in what capacity or what yet, but it looks like Triple H is back with NXT, or at least working down there. Now, we don't know what, in what capacity, but obviously I think a lot of that's going to depend on what goes on with Vince, because obviously if Steph stays in charge, she's going to let her husband have NXT back and stuff. But I mean, I'll just say this right now. If he's back, as the man in NXT, we're not going back to NXT. It's not going to go back to the way it was, because all the talent that Hunter had is gone. And I don't think a lot of them are going to come back.
Hunter sniped so much talent from the indies. Yep. I mean, we can go down the list. Gargano, Ciampa,
Cole, Fish, O'Reilly.
Exactly. The entire Undisputed Era. I mean, we can go on and on. I mean, Killer Cross. I mean, so many.
Swerve Strickland, Keith Lee.
Exactly. So we have a laundry list of people who have all moved on now. And that kind of talent isn't really out there now.
Nope.
They're all mostly specifically elsewhere. You think Ciampa's coming back to NXT? I mean, he should, for the bullshit.
He may, because I mean, if they're not going to do, if they're keep doing what they do, what they're doing with him on the main roster, I mean,
yeah, I mean,
why not?
Exactly. So, but at the same time, that ship has sailed. The black and gold is dead. All the talent that you had, all the names, all the rosters, everybody you brought in, who's out there really to bring in? I mean, there's a handful of guys you could, but it's not going to have the same name and impact that the list that we just went through had when they came to the black and gold. So even if he goes in now, even if Hunter goes in and revamps NXT from the shit show of 2.0, it's just not going to be the same. It's not there. They don't have that level. I hate to say it, but NXT's kind of DOA right now.
I'm not going to disagree with you there because I kind of feel the same way and stuff. And that's so. And then one other little piece of non AEW information before we get into Dynamite and stuff. Another big thing that happened today in the world of pro wrestling is The Rock found out he's got a few half siblings out there, and we're finding out that his dad, Rocky Johnson, was a little bit of a ladies' man or something.
Yes, supposedly planting a seed around Canada, from what I understand from all the breaking news today of it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I'm just excited to see the episode of Young Rock that touches on it. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely DVR in that one.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that episode, at least not for a couple, maybe season 5 or 6 if it lasts that long and stuff. But I mean, it was probably that's how it was back in the day, when Rocky was touring, unfortunately. Does it make it right? Does it? No. And stuff. That's just, unfortunately, it was the way of the land. And, obviously Rocky's no longer with us to, give his side of the story, but I would be interested to see what, Dwayne has to say about all this and, and stuff. And I mean, I could see him trying to reach out and, maybe, have some sort of relationship with these, maybe because he'll find out I don't know if he'll find out anything more about his dad that he didn't know, but it'd be kind of interesting to see how he reacts or what his reaction is on that and stuff and that.
I mean, hey, you're coming out saying you're the half sibling of the biggest star in the world today.
Right.
I'm not even talking wrestler. I'm just talking celebrity star power.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that all plays out with him, what he has to say about it.
Oh yeah, and then one more thing I thought of, and this will be really quick. It recently surfaced on Twitter that Joey Ryan was working at I think it was the Jungle Cruise ride at Disneyland, and then the next day after the pictures of him surfaced on Twitter, he was fired.
It's a rough day for Joey Ryan once again, but hey, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, and also you're not qualified to hand those prizes out or operate the rides, apparently.
And with that, let's move on to Dynamite, and obviously we're going to talk about the blood and guts match. But one thing that two things that I want to touch on Dynamite that I absolutely loved. One of which I was not expecting, but the other I was. Christian Cage is AEW's number one heel right now, just in the matter of a span of a couple weeks, because he had so much more to say and he wasn't done spitting the fire. And then in the one of the shockers of the night, what the hell is going on with Luchasaurus?
So you're going to have to fill me in because I missed the first part of Dynamite.
So basically, Cage cuts a promo, talking about how he's supposed to come out here. He basically just kind of added fuel to the fire. About he's sorry or whatever. And, he was making allusions to Jungle Boy's mom again, did the old, call me thing and stuff. But then he talks about because the day he came out because he was supposed to cut a promo and then have a match. And Shivani's like, okay, you requested a match, but you're not ready to wrestle. And Cage is like, oh, I didn't have a, request. I requested a match, but it wasn't for me. And then this music hits that sounds almost like old school Kane. And the next thing you know, here comes Luchasaurus with I think it was like a silver or gray mask, and basically just looking like he's turned heel.
Okay.
He's basically under the control of Christian Cage, and he destroyed Serpentico in about a minute or two. I thought it was cool. It was great because it's, obviously Cage versus Jungle Boy is happening, but now with Luchasaurus kind of, siding with Cage, this should be really interesting.
I thought Christian Cage solidified himself as the number one heel in AEW in that first
absolutely.
promo he cut.
Yep.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Edge and Christian, okay? Both turned heel this year. Off the top of your head, who had the better heel turn at this point?
I'm going to say Christian easily.
I agree, 100%. And that's the difference between AEW and WWE. WWE gives you the same superficial bullshit and story, and everybody's already heard how, Edge pitched multiple ideas, they were shot down, things like that, what to do with Judgment Day, all that kind of stuff. And here's Christian Cage in this slow build to turn heel, which I said months ago. And I was like, I'm all for it. It's coming at some point. He finally does a turn on Jungle Boy. And then he comes out and has the fucking promo of a lifetime. Just shitting on Jungle Boy. And he went deep. I mean, talking about his dead dad, talking about all kinds of shit.
Supposedly, Luke Perry was trending the next day after that first promo.
Yeah. Man, that should tell you right there how good that promo is.
Yep.
So in my opinion, yeah, Christian Cage right now is the hottest heel in AEW. Give him a microphone, let him do what he's doing, and don't stop. Keep this feud going, keep building it up while Jungle Boy's out injured, and ride that story till the fucking brakes fall off, because Christian Cage is absolute money every week right now on the microphone.
Yeah. And then again, obviously he seems to have kept, he has Luchasaurus under his spell, and he's basically turned Luchasaurus into, I guess for lack of a better term, again, because of the music and everything, the way it sounded, basically he's become AEW's version of, the Masked Kane.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope his political views are different from those of Kane, because
I think everybody hopes that.
And
Jesus
stuff.
Christ.
So, but I mean, I thought that was, really good. And then, Orange Cassidy followed up Forbidden Door by getting back on the winning track with Ethan, going over Ethan Page. And then it looks like we're going to get Wardlow versus Scorpio Sky in a street fight next week on Dynamite, which should be good. Hopefully Scorpio must be good to go.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah,
I want to see him have a good title run. I really do. I like him. Scorpio Sky is one of those guys, man. He's a fucking worker, and like he can just go, and he has good matches all the time, no matter who he's in the ring with. So yeah, that I think that's going to be a good one. But let's talk the main part of this show.
Okay.
Blood and Guts hits. We get the final hour for Blood and Guts.
Yep.
And I'm not going to talk about the match just yet. We'll talk about the match. I'm going to talk about the AEW production.
Go for it. Your floor is yours.
What I fucking hate more than anything is picture-in-picture. And they completely, thoroughly shit the bed with their picture-in-picture this week for this match. If you are going to have this type of match with this type of build, do it on a pay-per-view or go commercial-free for the hour. Don't do the picture-in-picture. You're going to give me picture-in-picture and then cut away from it and give me full commercial when they're setting up the biggest finishing spots from the top of the fucking cage. And you're going to play a fucking commercial for AEW Rampage instead of letting me see what happens. That is the biggest botch from AEW and TBS, hands down. Now, the match itself was good. It started off real sloppy. Did you notice that? Sammy came out and was all over the fucking place. Like, I was like, what is going on here? Sammy started that match, and he was
talking about when he was hopping the rope at the beginning when he started out with Cesaro?
Yeah, and like, but even going, Cesaro trying to get his shit in, Sammy was just real, like, not on. And look, the character of Sammy Guevara, I fucking, he's the heel that you hate him. You just fucking hate him. but the kid's really good at what he does. And he came out like I thought he came out way too hot for that start. And it was just fucking things up spot after spot until he finally like settled in and then flowed really well. But it started out real awkward. And then going even more awkward when Santana blows his knee out.
Yeah, and that's really, really, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't think I've ever seen a period of time in pro wrestling where so many people have just been getting injured. Like you said, it was Santana, it was Cole at Forbidden Door, and all the shit with Danielson.
All the shit leading up to Forbidden Door.
Yep, with Ishii and everything.
Danielson, Punk, Ishii, like all these guys getting hurt all at the same time in the span of a couple weeks. And, as soon as he went for that Uranagi, like he collapsed and I was like, his knee just gave out. He's done.
Yeah.
And the rest of the match, you could just see him laying over on the side. He's talking to the doctor. He was out of the match. And it really threw the flow of the match off for the next, I would say, about 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah,
because you knew there were spots set up for him that they're like, we gotta work around it at this point. We're not gonna get it, and it just sucked. I mean, really sucked for him. I shouldn't say the match sucked, but like it really sucked.
You feel for him because it's like, for all this time, a lot of people have been wondering what when are Santana and Ortiz finally going to get that title run that they really deserve, and it's just and it's just tragic, what I mean? Just hopefully we see him, obviously I don't think it's come out yet what he's done, but I mean, if there's anybody who knows about knee injuries, it's this guy right here.
Yeah,
exactly. Stuff, I mean, obviously it's not on the I don't do anything close to what these guys do on a weekly basis and stuff, but it's just, man, for me, like the second time around, it's going to be 8 months from the time I had surgery to the time I'm back, and that's just getting in and out of a van delivering Amazon packages. I mean, for the stuff that Santana does, it's just, you really hope for the best because dude, him and Ortiz are uber talented, both, as a tag team, obviously, but both as single stars. And I think outside AEW, Santana was kind of really starting to gain some traction as a single star. I mean, wasn't he champion somewhere in Puerto Rico or something like that?
Yeah. And then on top of that, I mean, he had a great match against Gresham at Terminus too.
Yes.
And that was that was a big one. And then on top of that, just tonight, I was reading some of the dirt sheets are reporting Santana's probably done with AEW. His contract's going to run out. Nobody knows the status of his injury, but he's unhappy with AEW. And the rumor mill is that he and Ortiz are on the outs now. Like they don't even really talk together or want to work together anymore. There's a lot of shit stirring around about Santana. And I'm like, let's get to see what his injury is, the extent, and find out some more, and then go from there before we speculate on anything like that. But it's just like one of those things. That's what the dirt sheets do. They start running with some shit, even though it's like, nothing's confirmed or nothing's known yet.
It's just my whole biggest gripe with these dirt sheets. It's just I'm growing increasingly tired of them because it's like, oh yeah, Fightful Select reports, Sean Ross Sapp, Dave Meltzer. It's like all these dirt sheet writers are so desperate to be the first one that breaks that story. It's just like, and this is the kind of stuff where I as much as I enjoy social media and the internet, because without it, we're not doing this show. I don't know you, I don't know Jovan, and all. There's just so much stuff that that's come out of social media. But then it's just stuff like this that ruins social media for us wrestling fans. And it's just like, I could care less who breaks the story. I would honestly rather not know. Oh, so and such thing was going to happen. I wish I lived in a world without spoilers and stuff. But I mean, I know you talked about your thoughts on the match. So I'm gonna give my take on the finisher, but what do you think of the finish of the match?
Uh, I like the setup between Claudio and Eddie, and I said that too.
Yeah.
If Claudio debuts Blackpool Combat Club, you're gonna have that built-in feud. So now you have somewhere to go with Eddie after all the dust settles with the Jericho shit. Which honestly, I hope that's done because blood and guts type match is a blow-off type match. All right. Eddie, Santana, Ortiz, and Blackpool won that match. It's over. The feud should be done. Will it be? I don't know, but hopefully it is. And now you have Eddie and Claudio. So, which they can build the whole backstory from the indies and go from there. Yeah. So, I like that. So I actually like the finish of them giving Claudio the win instead of Eddie getting the submission from Jericho. I thought that was kind of clever. A little lackluster on top of the cage. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, we did the big spot with Sammy. Cool. That's all it needs to be done up there. Because it's just not, it's a little, I don't know. I don't want to see guys get hurt, you know?
Nobody does.
Nobody does. And there's always that, like, is something going to go wrong here? Is something going to go wrong? And I'd rather be more involved in the match itself and the action that's happening than is something going to go wrong? That's just me. But I did like them giving Claudio the win as opposed to Eddie. And then Eddie, like, disappointed, like, I had it right here. Come on. So I actually like the finish. I like the way they played it, and I hope they actually use that to go forward.
So I like the ending for pretty much the same reasons you did and stuff, but I don't think it's not the end for Kingston and Jericho. I don't think we see the end of that. I think that finishes up at All Out. I think we finally get the blow off to that at All Out because of the fact, like you mentioned, that Eddie had Jericho in the submission move. I believe it was the same submission he used to get him to tap out at Revolution and stuff, you know. And Claudio had was it the sharpshooter that he had on? Yeah, I think it was Matt Menard. Yep, and stuff. And I really like that because, like I said, because we're not done with Kingston and Jericho. But yeah, like you said, it gives you the fuel for, you know, because we're obviously going to get Eddie versus Claudio and that. So I definitely agree that was a really, really fun way to end that match and stuff. And I mean, like you said, too, with the picture-in-picture, it was definitely a bit much. And I'm with you. Like you said, you say something like that for, a pay-per-view. Because, I mean, I don't have an issue with the picture-in-picture as much for like the standard matches, because a lot of times you don't really you with these standard matches, like, you know, just the one-on-one matches, you usually just get the kind of stuff that probably goes on during, you know, the commercial breaks and stuff, you know, and then obviously but obviously in a match like what we saw, there's really not a place for it. Like you said, I'm with you. If they're going to do this on free TV, like you said, make the whole hour commercial free or something like that. TK's got the money.
Yeah, I can agree with you with like a regular match, like a regular singles match, a tag match that's, you know, that's built to have certain rest spots, that's built to have like something. This is not the kind of match to do that with. This is all action through the entire, you know, 2 rings, a huge cage. And then to do that when you're setting up for the finish, when you have multiple guys on top of the cage fighting in a dangerous spot, to go to this small little picture-in-picture and then just completely dump it out. I'm watching it. I'm going, I got a fucking M&M's commercial. I got an AEW Rampage commercial. I got something else where they cut the whole picture-in-picture out. Not the right match to do it with. Like, you know, do that for a fucking regular match, not for this. That's just unacceptable and just real bad production, in my opinion.
Right. So, All right, so we are just north of an hour here and stuff. So I think it's a good point to wrap it up. I think we talked everything that we talked about and wanted to talk about and on the show and stuff. You got any last words for the shooters out there before we call it a night?
Yeah, not even just the shooters. How about Red Shoes over there in New Japan? Slide a couple pancakes under the forbidden door for our boy that's locked up. Keep the big guy fed and happy while he's stuck.
Yeah. So that one, we hope they eventually let you out, and we see you next week, man. I don't really have anything else I want to add. It was it was so cool to be a part of that show, and actually, you know what? One more question. Do we see another Forbidden Door? And if so, when do you think we see it?
We do, because I think at this point everybody knows how successful this one was.
Yeah, what it did do was like $1 million game. They said it was like something like, what did they say number of buys? Like it was like over 100,000 or something like that. It was like some ridiculous number.
Yeah, it was a really high number on buys. I can't remember what I read about it, excuse me, but I will say this. Tony Khan has some kind of fucking OnlyFans type of fetish for the city of Chicago. And it's real fucking disappointing at this point. And I'm here on the East Coast. I know DDJ, you're a Chicago guy, so this does cater to you in your backyard. But for fuck's sake, man, like, give us how many events do we have in Chicago? How many big time events are in Chicago all the time for AEW? Like, they want to make it the home base. And you know what? Credit to WWE for not doing that anymore. Now, WWE, everybody knew, was back in the day the East Coast. They ran the Garden and nobody else touched the Garden because of it. But those days are done. That ended a long time ago. So if every major event's in Chicago like this, you're really just taking away a huge chunk of fan base. When, they're only now. AEW is only now. And look, I'll give it, COVID hit and that changed a lot of plans, I'm sure. I'm positive of. But they're only now hitting the West Coast for AEW shows. Okay? Yeah. So how about you spread some of this love around? Of course, the big announcement of All Out. Well, surprise, fucking surprise. It's going to be in Chicago again. Way to go, Tony Khan, you jerk off. You keep throwing fucking every major event in Chicago, like, to cater to your fucking t-shirt business? Get the fuck out of here. That drives me absolutely up a wall. And, like, no fucking hate, because usually the Chicago crowd's on fire. They get big pops and stuff. But guess what? They get those in Philly. They get those in LA. They get those down in Texas.
They get those in New York.
They get them in New York. Come the fuck on. Like, move your events around. Or just say, hey, we're a fucking Midwest-based company now. I don't get it. It's just like, it's not a major announcement to me. It's not a major announcement that All Out's going to be in Chicago. And as soon as the rumors of Forbidden Door came up, it was like, it's probably going to be in fucking Chicago. And surprise, surprise, it was. Like,
the funny thing is they've announced the date, but it's probably going to be, but they haven't officially come out and said that All Out's going to be in Chicago. Even though Tony Khan has gone on record to say that he'd like to have the show here every year, but it's not been officially confirmed yet. Like, they have not confirmed the arena yet. So,
well, everybody's reporting that it is.
I'd be shocked if it wasn't Chicago. Honestly, I think my bank account is hoping that it wouldn't be Chicago. I'm not going to lie.
Exactly.
But I'm not
going to lie. My bank account's hoping that's not in Philly either, because I'm going to be fucked too. So, because you want to go. But just in general, spread the fucking love around a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, out of all the AEW pay-per-views, the majority, I believe, has been in Chicago now.
Well, let's see. If you count, we've had All In, we had All Out in 2019, we had Revolution in 2020, then we had All Out last year, and then Forbidden Door. So I believe out of the, let me see, 1, 2, 3, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 7, 11. Out of the 13 pay-per-views, I think that's about what AEW has done, because in 19 you had Double or Nothing, All Out, Full Gear. 2020 you had Revolution, Double or Nothing, All Out, Full Gear. 2021 you had the same 4, so that puts you at 11. Then this year you've had it would be 14, because you had this year you've had Revolution, Double or Nothing, and Forbidden Door. So I believe that's 14 pay-per-views that AEW has done since its inception.
Yeah.
And nearly half of them have been in Chicago.
Exactly. And, there's an argument to say, well, it's centralized. Well, that's all fine and great, but there's a lot of other places you can go. There really are. And I think AEW fans in general have proven that they're not afraid to fly. They're not afraid to travel.
No, they're not.
And
our resident, our very own Giovanni Two Hotties traveled to quite a few.
Correct. Exactly. Fans will travel. You don't have to put it in the middle of the fucking country all the time. Give some love to the East Coast, give some love to the West Coast, and start to spread it around, or you're going to be a regional based promotion. That's how I view it, at least.
All right. Well, I think that's a great way. It's a great time to call it a night here. Joey K, it was a pleasure. Obviously, we miss you, Joe. We miss you, Giovanni. Hopefully by the time we record next week, that they'll have let you out and you can join us, because Absolutely. I'm sure as beautiful as that United Center is, and and shout out to the United Center for having very reasonably priced concessions at the arena. I got a personal deep dish pizza, water, and an ice cream bar, and only spent $20. Whereas if I went anywhere else, it'd probably been close to double that. The merch section was literally right straight ahead from where the entrance I walked into, and it was right by where I sat, so everything was centralized. It was just really convenient, almost in one spot. Merch stands were cleaned out pretty much by the time the official pay-per-view started. So, which was kind of wild and stuff. So, but yeah, no, it was just a great time and stuff. And we'll see you all in a week for the, I don't know all the stuff Giovanni likes to say, the men, the women back in the dressing room, the men in catering, blah blah blah. I don't know. I'm just gonna go out and say
we're not the WWE. No, we're not bringing the women back to the dressing room or the office or anything.
No, we're not. Clarify. And nor are we gonna pass them around like Vince and Johnny Ace.
We have no NDAs for any females to sign. I just want to be clear on that. We're 100% a consensual show.
Yep.
Unlike certain other major professional wrestling companies.
Plus, we're also one women men too.
Correct.
So. All right. On that note, good night, everyone. Do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Follow the show on Twitter at SHOOTINSHT, and thanks for listening.